propose that the best thanks of the council be accorded to the Councillor Earl and Debbie Sherman for their services as Mayor and Mayoress during the past municipal year. Is this agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you, Mayor. Lord Mayor, Mayors, Councillors, Honorary Freemen, Honorary Aldermen, distinguished guests, and the young people of the borough, and everybody else that's here today. Okay, we get a kind of a running order by the officers, and when it gets to my bit, it says here, Councillor Earl will reply briefly. As I'm back. I've almost been rewriting my speech as we sit here, so apologies, and apologies if I start to get a bit emotional. As soon as I arrived in the tea room earlier, people coming up and saying, "You've done a great job, thank you," and all the rest of it sort of thing. I've welled up about 3 times already. It's bound to happen again, so I apologise now. So, it doesn't feel like a year ago that I was here, starting my term as Mayor, but as I say, time flies when you're enjoying yourself. And the last year has been absolutely extraordinary, as well as being a great honour and a great privilege representing our wonderful town. It would be almost impossible for me to pick out just one highlight of my mayoral year, as there have been so many great moments. I mean, just so many. When I first started writing this speech, I thought I'd start by listing them all. And I thought, after about 5 minutes, I thought, I can't do that, we'd be ill every day. You know, so what I ended up doing is, well, suffice to say, the memories of the last year will remain with me, not just in my mind, but in my heart. It has been a remarkable experience. However, if I was to pick out maybe one event, I think Gaffers certainly stuck in my mind, because they let us have a go on the speedboat up and down the Solent, so that certainly will always be a memory of mine. But it would be, I think, the one that really stands out would be the signing of the peace treaty between Gosport and Portsmouth. Myself and the Lord Mayor of Portsmouth, Jason Vasapoli, we signed the treaty in order to officially cease the hostilities between our 2 towns and the city. They were never finalised after the Civil War in 1661. Organised by the wonderful Gosport Society and held at Bastion Number 1, that was a remarkable day, and that's one I will always remember. Now, there's a little story attached to this. Just prior to the signing of the treaty, Jason and I had been sort of getting on. We'd met at a few sort of functions, but the Lord Mayor and the Mayoress, Jason Vasapoli and Helen Mitchell, invited Debbie and I over for an innocent cup of tea and cake. We thought, oh, that'd be lovely. We went and saw his parlour, very impressive, absolutely wonderful. And then as we're sort of chatting away and everything, he went, oh, just wait a minute. And he went over to his desk and came back, and he had this piece of paper and a pen, and he just slid it across to me. And he said, could you just sign here, please, dear Lord? This is what he wanted me to sign. I'll read it out, because you'll get to know what Jason's all about. Gospel. Formal declaration of surrender and terms of repatriation. I, Councillor Richard Earl, being the Mayor of the Borough of Gosport, do hereby agree to the formal surrender of all Gosport armed forces and offer total unconditional surrender of the City of Portsmouth. This brings to an end the state of war between our respective 2 authorities. In return for the acceptance of surrender, he loved the word surrender, he didn't stop saying it, even on the day. In return for the acceptance of surrender, Gosport Borough Council agrees to cede the areas known as Leon the Solent and Ramel to Portsmouth City Council. As its sign of acceptance, Portsmouth City Council agrees to return an unknown number of cannonballs that are currently lodged in the walls of the Anglican Cathedral. In a demonstration of magnanimity, Portsmouth City Council waivers any cost in the return of said cannonballs. Now, he did that with an absolute straight face. And I tell you, he was so lucky that he didn't ask me to meet him at another time when we were having gin and tonic or something, because I could have just signed away after Okay. One aspect of being mayor is to raise money for the local charities. And last year I chose my 3 main charities as Plan B, Level Up Gosport and Cedar Oak. I chose them because they were very close to my heart, and now they're even closer. I didn't give the apology previous, so there we go. But throughout my year, I've come across other charities that I feel deserve a helping hand too. Namely, the Royal Marine Volunteer Cadet Corps, Gosport Solent Brass Band, they're gone, Motor Neurons Disease Charity, and the Thorngate Pantomime and Variety Company. That last one has been just so much fun. Whenever we've gone to all their performances, they just love nothing more than taking the mickey out of me. They have me up on stage, dancing, singing, of which I can do neither, but they have been absolutely great fun. But they need a helping hand, so I'm more than happy to help them. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the people and all the groups that have contributed to the Mayor's charity, including Les Hayhoe's Race Nights. I think we raised nearly £2,000 with those. Thank you, Les, absolutely brilliant. My Tea Party speakers, my chaplain Emma, and the amazing artist Neil Marshall. Again, I think we raised over £1,500 just for those tea parties. That's absolutely brilliant. The Rotary Club, the Masons, Gosport Half Marathon, Gosport in Bloom, the Thorngate Singers, and the wonderful Villagers Open Air Shakespeare Group, who I hope have forgiven me for my dreadful speech that I gave after one of their Shakespeare plays. I just went off on some weird tangent. And I admitted it was the first Shakespeare play I've ever been to, and the gasp from behind me, all the cast and the audience, oh my word, and I just went off on one, so that was a bit odd. As Rob has already said, I also wish to thank my Debbie, not just for being an amazing mayoress throughout the year, which you absolutely have been, but, as Rob said, also as a budding artist who's been selling her works of art and has added £500 to the Mayor's charity. With all their help, I have managed to raise just over, and I was going to ask for a drum roll, but they're gone, so I've raised just over £10,200. So thank you to everybody that's helped me achieve that. Much appreciated. Okay, last page, you'll be glad to know. Just a few thank yous. I want to thank all the people that have supported me, not only over the last year, but over the last 9 years of being councillor. Again, a big thank you to my Debbie for being an outstanding mayoress. She truly has been amazing. To Emma, my chaplain, who's done a remarkable job working with this old atheist. To Kirsten for being an excellent deputy mayor, and to my fellow councillors of all parties. At the beginning of every council meeting, I did ask for really good behaviour and to be professional, and they've done exactly that on every meeting, and I really appreciate that, guys. Absolutely brilliant. To all Gosport Borough Council staff and officers who have worked so hard for this town, but especially for their support of me, Debbie, Steph, Michelle, Lisa, Linda, and Julie, who makes the tea. A special thank you to Mark, my mace bearer, who will pretend not like tea under the spotlight, but he loves it. He tells the most awful jokes, which we tolerate. Whenever we ask him to take our picture, every time he says, chin up, and then he says, and the other one. Every time. So, special thank you to Mark. He's made this a joy with all his efforts. And to his wonderful team of civic officers as well, Alan, James and Chris. They all do a fantastic job. And last, but by no means least, Casey, who has been my super efficient PA and has had the patience of a saint having to deal with me. Thank you, Casey. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody.